This is Grizz TV. Charlie Clifford of Wish TV with you this afternoon. Franklin Anderson, HCAC. This is a clash, folks. Franklin comes in 4-1 in conference play, technically 3 straight wins at home after the no contest against Rose-Hulman. That game would have been Wednesday earlier this week. Rose-Hulman's done for the season. So Jessica Johnson's team sitting at 4-1 in conference. Here comes Anderson, 5-2, 4 straight wins overall. The Ravens have the reigning conference player of the year in Lexi Dellinger. 20 points a game. She had 40 earlier this season. The top scorer in the conference. How will Johnson and the Grizzlies handle this matchup? We're almost ready for tip here at Franklin College. We'll be back with the starting lineups after this short break. This is Grizz TV. Everything this afternoon presented by the Hubler Automotive Group. Charlie Clifford of Wish TV with you. It's a doubleheader, women's and men's clashes, HCAC play. Anderson and Franklin, that is the reigning conference player of the year. Lexi Dellinger, 20 points a game. She dropped 40 earlier this season. She's the top guard in conference play. It's a huge test for Jessica Johnson. Also starting for second-year head coach John Ginn. Take a look at the rest of the guards. Bryn Beard, sophomore from Toledo. Grace Marshall out of New Palestine, 5'9" forward. Also a freshman, Mackenzie Tolliver from Bluffton. She wears 12. And then McKinley Taylor in the middle. Anderson native, went to LaPel High School. This is her 48th start. Coach Johnson and the Grizzlies not changing anything from this past Saturday's win over Earlham. Taylor Cooney was fantastic, 16 points against Earlham, gets the start, the sophomore, alongside Maddie Barnes. Barnes also a dozen points. She had a nice game against Earlham. Jordan Kuhn, 10 points against Earlham, back in the starting lineup. Sarah O'Day. O'Day likely gets the test, or at least early, of trying to handle Dellinger. And then CC Bailey, 17th career start, 44th career game. A little quiet last Saturday, but had her 5th career double-double the game ahead of time. So Franklin and Anderson, if you talk to either of these teams, the message is let's find out which team ranks where in the HCAC. Right now, 4 straight wins for the Ravens. They love to shoot the basketball. Every three-point shot is a good three-point shot, according to head coach John Ginn. They do a little drill during practice during the week, and the goal is each week we got to nail 353s as a team ahead of our next game. It is a team that is playing a fun brand of basketball against Jessica Johnson's club that is starting to gain some confidence. Technically 3 straight wins here, and we're ready for the tip. Bailey wins it over to Kuhn, passes it to Barnes, and Taylor Cooney picked up by Mackenzie Tolliver to start things off. Again, Charlie Clifford of Wish TV with you all afternoon long. O'Day misses an open layup on the left block to start things up. This is Bryn Beard. Beard, Tolliver, Taylor, Marshall, and here's the star, Dellinger, working one-on-one on O'Day. That's the plan early. Try to play one-on-one. O'Day has the toughest job in the conference this afternoon. 6 on the shot clock. Corner. Beard, that was partially blocked by Kuhn. Franklin has some numbers if they want to take it. O'Day left alone on the left wing. Barnes a little short. Dellinger's going to push. The other weapon for this Anderson team, Jade Shipley out of Westfield. She'll come off the bench this afternoon. No contact. Dellinger right up top, straight away. Marshall gets the bounce. And Anderson's on the board first, 2-0. Grace Marshall, New Palestine, 5'9" freshman, playing a ton of minutes early for Anderson. Early assist, Kuhn to Bailey, even at 2. Franklin 68-58 1 week ago over Earlham. A monster third quarter. It was 26-11 in favor of the Grizzlies in that third quarter. That was the difference 1 week ago. So Beard over Shipley. Coach Ginn said, look, at all times, either Shipley or Dellinger is going to be on the floor. Dellinger, open 3, thought about it, and it goes. That's Tolliver. First 3 of the game. Tolliver 29% on the season from deep. She had a chance at an early steal. Cooney back to Kuhn. Man-to-man on both sides to start this contest. 5-2 Anderson if you're just joining us a couple minutes in. Cece Bailey goes to that right shoulder. Kuhn open on the wing. Front iron. Dellinger with a pair of rebounds. Cooney, one-on-one with Dellinger. Step back 3. Dellinger rims out. That's Taylor on the board. Marshall for 3. It's good. 8-2 Anderson to start this game. 2 triples for the Ravens. Heading into their win Wednesday night against Manchester. It was a close one, 74-68. This team ranked 8th in the nation in turnover margin. They play quick and they don't turn it over. O'Day, not enough legs. Beard looking ahead, crosses the logo. Hand off to Dellinger. High screen from Marshall. Get the switch. It's Cooney on Dellinger. Dellinger off the left window. Layup's good. Timeout, Jessica Johnson. A 10-2 start for the Ravens. Dellinger has done everything up top early. Everything this afternoon presented by the Hubler Automotive Group. This is Grizz TV, the first of 2. Beautiful doubleheader here as we conclude the first week of 2023. We're back on Grizz TV after this. Grizz TV, Anderson and Franklin College. The Ravens lead 10-2. Just over 3 minutes in here, first half. Lexi Dellinger, graduate student. She is a full-time teacher during the week. 5th grade teacher at LaPel. South Adams star, the leading high school scorer in South Adams history. And she's now the 2nd all-time leading scorer in Ravens history. It's been a illustrious career for this very competitive guard. And we're back at it with Kuhn on the baseline. Good jumper. Nice possession out of the break from Coach Johnson's team. And it's 10-4, Anderson in front early. A few substitutions for the first time in for the Ravens. Jada Stansberry. Also Bella Larison wearing 30 is in. Stansberry on the drive. Partially blocked by Day. Kuhn on the reverse. It's a bit out of control. CeCe Bailey on the offensive glass. Barnes one more time, a third option. It's Kuhn for 3. And that's Larison on the rebound. Dellinger. Prodding into the paint, blocked by Bailey. Stansberry hands it off to Dellinger. No whistle. We have a tie-up underneath. Larison and Bailey, possession will stay with the Ravens. Izzy Davis, freshman from Bishop Chatard, is in. Marshall will get a rest. So it's Tolliver, Marshall, Stansberry, Dellinger, and Larison for Coach Ginn. 15 on the shot clock. Larison, Dellinger lost the handle, looking for help. Shot clock down to 8. Stansberry one-on-one with O'Day. Stansberry, Larison off the side of the backboard. Solid defensive possession. Here comes Barnes. O'Day wide open, didn't want the corner 3. Tolliver pressures Cooney. Stansberry nearly the steal on Kuhn. Back to the corner, Barnes. The 3 is good. Maddie Barnes, 26% from 3 heading into this afternoon. She had her season best 16 against Wittenberg back in November. And we have the first whistle of the game. For 5 minutes in here. Sarah O'Day's first. O'Day only played 20 minutes 1 week ago, was scoreless, 0 for 5 from the field. A little foul trouble early. She sat most of the first half, and that was a win against Earlham to move Franklin to 4-1 now in HCAC play. Again, down to the shot clock, down to 5. Stansberry blocked by O'Day. That's stuck in the first row of the bleachers. Sarah O'Day flying out to the wing. 2 seconds remain on the shot clock. And we have cleanup on aisle 4 after the rejection from O'Day. 4:12 to go. Anderson up 3. Two on the shot clock. Davis to inbound. Needs to throw it in. Lob picked off. And that's rejected by Bailey. Shot clock violation. 3 possessions in a row. The Grizzlies defense stands tall. Cooney, Barnes, and Kuhn. A little pressure here in the backcourt. Get it across the timeline. 4 minutes to go, first quarter. Anderson, Lauren Smith in for the first time. She picks up Kuhn. Smith, Stansberry, Larison. Pass, somehow Bailey gets a piece of it. Little hustle, Dellinger ends up with it. 4-on-4 the other way. Dellinger, pull up 3, top of the key. Doesn't get the roll. Smith underneath. Smith fouled. She'll go to the stripe for 2 shots. Kuhn whistled her first, team second. Pair substitutions coming into the scorers table. Taylor's back in for the second time. For the first time, the second quarter hero against Earlham. Also checking in, that's Georgia Hanauer. 12 points all in the second quarter 1 week ago. First free throw for Smith is good. Smith's from Muncie. She's been scoreless in the last 2 games. And the freshman from Cowan gets both. Anderson moves its lead back up to 5. O'Day, Barnes, Hanauer, Cooney, and Kuhn for Coach Johnson. Good give and go. Barnes, weak side, Hanauer, blocked. Smith making a contribution on the defensive end. Bounce pass ahead, nearly got through. It did, and there's a traveling violation. That's Izzy Davis. Pushing it ahead. Smith's played well off the bench. A little spark for Coach Ginn. Barnes bounce pass gets through to O'Day. Hanauer, Cooney, Kuhn in the corner, back to Cooney. Spins to the paint. Barnes, second three of the afternoon, can't go. Stansberry pushing ahead. Davis beyond the free throw line. That's a little short. Smith tracks it down in the corner. Shot clock resets to 20. Out of bounds on the line. Anderson ball. Camille Perry in. Beard returns for the Ravens. Perry 6 points against Earlham. Played big minutes, 24. Certainly a weapon off the Grizzlies bench. Dellinger not in, but Perry will certainly get that assignment at some point this afternoon. The lob, too much. Second turnover for Davis early, and Ginn's going to get a substitution. Davis is going to take a break. Marshall returns. Full court man-to-man press here. 2:22 to go first quarter. Anderson up 5. The Grizzlies have not led in the first quarter. Perry picks up her dribble. Cooney needs to get it across. She does. Barnes to the rim. Maddie Barnes. 5 points early for the sophomore from Speedway. Little dribble handoff. Marshall to Smith. Smith straight away off the left side of the rim. Hanauer trying to track it down. It'll go the other way. Franklin ball. Dellinger back in after a short rest. Smith, a nice job off the bench in her first stint. Still waiting to see Jade Shipley for the first time today. Perry trapped. Harassing pressure. Jump ball. Franklin ball. Anderson likes to do this defensively. Run 2 at the ball. Saw that on tape against Manchester Wednesday. It's part of the reason they got out on top at home with a 6-point win. This team's won 4 in a row. If you're just joining us, Anderson and Franklin right there, right at the top tier of the HCAC standing, chasing Transylvania, and Taylor Cooney heads to the line. First trip to the line for the Grizzlies today. Cooney connects on the first. Foul goes on Tolliver, her first. Cooney 2 for 2. It's back to a 1-point game. Minute 25 left, first quarter. Charlie Clifford of Wish TV with you on Grizz TV. Dellinger makes the dribble, handoff. Marshall wide open for 3. And that is the Ravens offense at its best. A little pressure, turnover. Marshall with the steal. Gives it right back. 3-on-3 this side of the floor. Barnes, jump shot, partially blocked. And a whistle goes on Taylor. 2 shots coming from Maddie Barnes. Taylor's first. So Taylor and Tolliver each with 1. 2 fouls apiece here. It's been a quick first quarter. And Barnes now has 6 points to lead the Grizzlies here. Half of Franklin's offense courtesy of Maddie Barnes in the opening quarter. 1 of 2 from the line. Dellinger picked up by Cooney. Again, it's a corner 3. Almost went down, and we're tied up. Barnes and Taylor tied up. Anderson retains possession. It appears, looking down at Anderson's bench, that Jade Shipley, senior captain from Westfield, is unavailable today. We'll continue to update you on that story. Shipley had a season-high 19 points in the win over Manchester on Wednesday. Beard inbounds. And again, it's Marshall in the corner. Back iron. Boarded Hanauer. And another jump ball. This one will go to Franklin. Anderson swarming defensively. It's our 3rd tie-up of the first quarter. On this end of the floor, Barnes is going to inbound. More full court pressure. Perry confident with the left hand. O'Day in the left corner. She drives. Wide open layup. Sarah O'Day left alone. It's a 1-point game. 20 seconds on the game clock. Coach Jin wants the last shot of the first quarter. Dellinger up by the timeline. We're down to 10. Dellinger, Cooney, 1-on-1. High screen from Taylor. Reach in, Hanauer. That doesn't cost Franklin anything. Still 2 more whistles before Anderson heads to the line for a potential double bonus situation. 6 seconds, side out of bounds. It's Beard. Okay. A whistle before the inbounds. Cooney's whistled. So 1 apiece, Hanauer and Cooney. 4 team fouls, 1 more, and they'll shoot. The clock didn't start. We'll head to the scores table for a quick discussion here. 6 seconds on the game clock here in the first quarter. And we'll attempt this side out of bounds for a 3rd time. As the discussion continues, we'll take this time to remind you the Hubler Automotive Group presenting all action this afternoon. Women's and men's doubleheader. The men's game will be just as entertaining in terms of 2 teams playing well. The Ravens' offensive game plan on the men's side really doesn't change. It's a fun brand of basketball. The new interim head coach, Coach Carter. Carter Collins. And we'll have all the drama between these 2 proud HCAC programs all afternoon long on Grizz TV. Charlie Clifford with you. We have a decision, and we're going to keep the half second off the clock. Coach Jins changed that to 4.7 seconds after the clock malfunction. You can understand Coach Jin's complaint. That play didn't count, so why is there time coming off the clock? They have 4.7 seconds to figure it out. Beard in to Dellinger. Dellinger 2, 1 to the rim. It rolls off, and that's where we end the first quarter. 15-14 Anderson has led the entire way through 10 minutes. It's the Ravens up 1, the second quarter, with a few lineup changes we'll tell you about coming up next on Grizz TV. We're back in 2. This is Grizz TV, Charlie Clifford of Wish TV in Indianapolis with you this afternoon for the doubleheader. Anderson leads by 1. A trifecta of threes in the opening quarter for the Ravens. They took 10, made 3, and that's the brand of basketball you've come to enjoy if you're a Ravens fan this season. Second-year head coach John Ginn. He went to North Florida. His head coach there as a student assistant, Matt Driscoll, a major influence. This is a space and pace operation. That's how Coach Ginn explains it. Also a big fan of what Mike Neighbors has done at Arkansas. He says, I watch a ton of Razorbacks women's hoops. We are trying to emulate exactly what they're doing down in Fayetteville. And we're ready for the second quarter. Anderson leads by 1. It's Perry, Barnes, Cooney, Bailey, and Hanauer for Coach Johnson. For Coach Ginn, it's Dellinger, Taylor, Beard, Marshall, and Tolliver. Once again, if you're just joining us, senior captain Jade Shipley out of Westfield. She wears 5 for Anderson. Normally starts, was not in the starting lineup. Have not seen her on the floor just yet. We'll continue to monitor that story. Dellinger left open for the 3 on the left wing. That's off. Bailey gets in there, knocks it around, and controlled by Cooney. Best sign for Coach Johnson through 10 minutes, only 1 turnover. That was another issue against Earlham, despite winning the game. Back-to-back games for the Grizzlies. Turnovers have been the major concern. Hanauer can't get the open jumper. A little contact underneath. We're going the other way. Taylor, who may have traveled on the right wing, that was not called, plows into the paint, and Matty Barnes draws the charge on Taylor. Second personal on McKinley Taylor, 48th start. She's the post presence for the Ravens, and Coach Ginn's going to keep her in despite the 2 fouls. Baseline screen, Hanauer matching up with Marshall. Bounce pass doesn't get through. Out of bounds to the Grizzlies. The leading scorer in the conference, Lexi Dellinger, reigning player of the year. Just 1 for 6 to start the game. She'll push it up past half court. Before the turnover, whistle, foul called. Cooney on the pass. You're getting a sense of the game plan for Anderson. Dellinger brings it up. If the pull-up 3 isn't there, drive and look to kick. Franklin has to help on the drives off the wings. Had a couple open threes. There's a turnover. Hanauer, 1-on-1. Marshall retreats back. Back up top, Perry. Perry's not a shooter necessarily. Perry, Cooney, and Barnes on the wings. High screen, good screen from Barnes. Barnes in the corner 3, it's good. Bailey with the screen, Barnes with the 3. And Barnes' second triple of the afternoon. The first lead of the day doesn't last long for Franklin. Dellinger comes back with the 3 of her own. So Anderson goes back in front by 2. Perry picks up the dribble left block. Hanover for 3. Back and forth. We go. 3's good. 19-18 Franklin. Hanauer and Barnes head to the bench. A quick substitution. We had a scoreboard issue, so that allowed it for a moment. And we also had an inbounds violation after the Hanover 3. So the Grizzlies trying to add to their lead. Cooney can't get it. Barnes on the glass. Barnes with the offensive board. And this is already becoming a physical battle. 2 on Taylor Cooney. That's 2 quick ones on Cooney here in the second quarter. 2 on the Grizzlies this quarter. CeCe Bailey, pair of offensive boards. An empty second and third try. Good hands. That was Perry in there on the initial reach-in. Jump ball possession. Franklin. Coach Johnson's team certainly needs to steal some possessions from this high-powered offensive attack. They've done that here really midway through the first quarter. Have settled in on defense. Lauren Bates checks in for the first time. Stansberry back in. Beard gets a rest. If you're just joining us, Franklin leading for the first time here in the second quarter. A trifecta of threes. Leaves Franklin in front. Bates got away with a carry. Perry to O'Day. O'Day's baseline jumper. Perry on the offensive glass. Nearly 3 minutes in second quarter. You can hear Coach Johnson stomping her feet at the other end. It's O'Day for 3. Franklin's largest lead of the day. 22-18, Grizzlies by 4. Dellinger, drive in. Whistle called. Davis to the line for 2. CeCe Bailey. First on Bailey. Tolliver to the bench. Larison is in. And Izzy Davis gets the first. 5A freshman Bishop Chittard. Back on the 19th of November, 26 points. 6 of 6 from 3. Davis, one of many Ravens off of Coach Jin's bench who are very effective from behind the three-point line. 1 of 2 from the line. Franklin continues the lead by 3 here. O'Day. Bates back to O'Day. 12 on the shot clock. Perry one-on-one with Dellinger behind the back. Back up top to O'Day. Left wing 3. It's good. Back-to-back 3. Sarah O'Day. Franklin leads by 6. Dellinger to the corner. Stansberry. A high arcing 3 off the back of the rim. Larison's offensive board, and that's a second foul on CeCe Bailey. She already knew. That's going to be enough for now, potentially for the rest of the first half. Kate Breeden in for the first time today. Freshman out of Mater Dei in Evansville. She's played much more over the past 4 games. Dellinger off the inbounds. Can't buy a bucket. Dellinger's been cold to start. Little spacing from the Grizzlies. Perry, arguably the best ball handler on this team. Moving screen, Sarah O'Day. It's the right call from the baseline. O'Day with the dribble handoff. A little too fluid. Sarah O'Day's second foul, 4th on the Grizzlies. So the next foul, it'll be double bonus the rest of the way for Anderson this quarter. Larison right wing. Smith. Davis pushes off, drives to the lane. Kuhn on the rebound. O'Day wants to run. Reach in, out of bounds to Franklin. Franklin leads by 6. Anderson led for the entire first quarter. And here come Jessica Johnson's Grizzlies. O'Day steps in. Out of bounds play works. Right on the conference logo. O'Day 8 points in the second quarter. Davis out of control, dribbled it off her leg, slides out of bounds, turnover Anderson. Substitution, Tolliver returns. Stansberry's second stint off the bench concludes. 5:23 to go, Grizzlies up 8. Dellinger, oh, and that's a mistake. Really the first turnover issue of the day for the Grizzlies. The second of the game. Bates just a little miscommunication in the backcourt. Perry on Dellinger. Dellinger just one field goal this afternoon. Reigning HCAC Player of the Year into the lane. Outside Larson's three. Doesn't get anything. Perry with Breeden up ahead. Here's Kuhn, the lob into Bates, right, fine layup, good. Bates, 10-point lead for Franklin. Larson to Tolliver, corner over Smith, open. Smith's little long, Breeden, rebound, and we'll have a whistle on the reach-in. Foul's going to go on Larson, and a nice hand for the Franklin Grizzlies. 10-point lead here on Grizz TV. Charlie Clifford with you, presented by the Hubler Automotive Group. 4:41 to go in the second quarter. Franklin leads 29-19. Time for a quick timeout. You're looking in at the Grizzlies huddle on Grizz TV. Jessica Johnson, a 2014 grad here at Franklin, was the top assistant under Steve Brooks at Marion this past season. That Marion team made a run to the NAIA National Tournament. Returns home to her alma mater, Abby Downard, former player at Marion. Coach Johnson's top assistant. They've injected a new energy to this program. 6-5 on the season, 4-1 in conference play, and even 2-2 at home. Last Saturday against Earlham, it was the bench that was the difference, 27-5 in terms of the bench scoring, and they won by 10 despite 28 turnovers, just 2 through more than a quarter and a half of play this afternoon. That week off paying dividends on the offensive end of the floor. And Sarah O'Day's 10 second quarter points give Franklin a 10-point lead after trailing the entire first quarter. Perry, Barnes, O'Day, Cooney, and Kuhn. Can O'Day keep it rolling? It's a good look. And Dellinger tracks down her 7th rebound. Lexi Dellinger now 7 rebounds, just 1 field goal, 3 from straight away. That was halfway down, and it's going to be white ball. No whistle, no foul call, just out of bounds to the Grizzlies. Anderson's been without its second leading scorer, Jade Shipley, senior team captain out of Westfield. Coming off a game of 19 points. Shipley is on the bench, but she's yet to play this afternoon. Try to gather some injury notes on that story if that's the way this is going to go. Reach in, that's going to be Maddie Barnes. And Anderson gets 2. 6th team foul on Franklin. 5th team foul on Franklin. And for Barnes, that is her first. Hanauer back in for the second time. Barnes to the bench. And McKinley Taylor hits her first. Taylor's a hometown kid, Anderson native, went to LaPel High School, 5.5 points a game, 53% from the charity stripe this season. And that number's going up. 2 for 2. Grizzlies lead by 8, under 4 minutes to go. Second quarter on Grizz TV. Charlie Clifford with you. Perry the shake. Hanauer open 3. Camille Perry continues to run the point with incredible pace here. Wide open 3 for Hanauer off of Perry's dribble. Largest lead of the day, 11 points. Dellinger, too long. Hanauer the rebound, jump ball, possession arrow will keep it with the Ravens, but the long first half continues for Lexi Dellinger. Now 2 of 10 from the field. Beard on the baseline. Traveling violation. Anderson continues to shoot itself in the foot. Cooney, Hanauer. A full court pressure throughout this game from Anderson. Cooney gets a step on Beard. Breeden shot fake, steps into her jumper, bounces off the front of the rim, off the glass. Beard can take it herself, decides against it. Left side, Tolliver way short on the 3. Back to Franklin. These Anderson possessions. It's been one and done for the Ravens. Jessica Johnson has to be thrilled with this second quarter. Kuhn, corner, O'Day, back to Perry. Perry picked up, that's a block. Grace Marshall, Marshall's first. Quick substitution from Coach Jin, that's Izzy Davis back on for the 3rd time. Taylor with 2 fouls. Smart move from Coach Jin. Don't risk that 3rd personal foul here in the first half. That may be the end of Taylor's work here before halftime. O'Day splits 2 defenders and is off the glass for a lay-in. O'Day with a dozen to lead everyone. Last week it was Georgia Hanauer with a dozen in the second quarter. Now Sarah O'Day with a dozen of her own, all coming in the second quarter. And it's a 13-point advantage for the Grizzlies. Trying to snap Anderson's 4-game win streak. Dellinger averaging 20 a game, just with 5. That 3 is nothing but net. Dellinger now 2 of 7 from behind the 3-point line. The Ravens down just 10. Hanauer turns on the right wing. Breeden offensive board in the lay-in. Kate Breeden played 23 minutes all season up until just over 2 weeks ago. She's now played over 70 minutes over the past 4+ games. Jessica Johnson's found her go-to reserve in the post. Jasmine Walker also in that conversation. Walker has not played yet today. O'Day with a rest. Perry has continued to stay in. Camille Perry checked in and has stayed in. Bates from Anderson is back in. Bates, went to Frankton High School. So you know this one means plenty to 34 in white. Dellinger rims out. That's been the story for Lexi Dellinger in the first half. How many of these attempts can be halfway in, find a way not to go down? Second of 2, that's long. Bates on the rebound. An empty trip to the line for Dellinger. Bates drives. Bates is going to call her own number. And Dellinger up ahead. Ooh, had Davis for a minute. Instead, it's a handoff to Marshall. Left corner, Marshall. Rims out. Breeden, that's off the head of Kuhn. We have a little FIFA, a taste of FIFA here this afternoon. Off the foot, off the noggin. Anderson keeps the possession. Smith will inbound. Minute 23 to go. Franklin's built a 12-point lead in the second quarter after not leading for a second in the first quarter. Smith left open, no shot, offensive foul. Jordan Kuhn draws the whistle. That's Izzy Davis's first foul, fourth foul of the quarter on the Ravens. So the next personal on Anderson, and Franklin gets to go to the line for double bonus action. Bates and Kuhn, no Perry here. So it's Lauren Bates' job to break the press. She does. Tolliver's played great defense up top. Anderson continuing to pressure, down a dozen. 12 on the shot clock. Hanauer into the paint, uses the right shoulder. Somebody got a piece. It's Davis, Dellinger, Bates, the only defender on Dellinger, and Kuhn comes in, runs over Dellinger. That's on Kuhn, and Dellinger heads back to the line for the second time this quarter for 2 shots. 2 fouls on Kuhn, 2 on Cooney, 2 on O'Day. So 3 of Jessica Johnson's starters with 2 fouls. Kuhn heads to the bench. Larson in for the first time today. Dellinger to get both. She does. 9 points, Lexi Dellinger in the first half. It's been a tough first half, 3 of 11 from the field. Anderson back within 10. Hanauer bounce pass. Larson tries to keep it alive. Smith comes up with the steal. Also in for the first time, Megan Kane. She's in front of Marshall. Smith, 25 on the game clock, 19 on the shot clock. Coach Ginn wants this to be within single digits if Franklin gets a chance at one more possession. 8 on the shot clock. High screen, Dellinger keeps it. Breeden tries to pick her up. To the window, not enough. 5 on the game clock. Hanauer pushing, up ahead. Larson, in and out. Would have counted, but Franklin's second quarter completely changes the script here. For game 1 of the doubleheader between the Grizzlies and Anderson, Jessica Johnson's team heads back to its locker room leading by 10, 36-26. Grizzlies with the first half lead. Some halftime thoughts here on Grizz TV presented by the Hubler Automotive Group. Coming up next, Charlie Clifford with you of Wish TV. We're back after this quick timeout. This is Grizz TV presented by the Hubler Automotive Group. Charlie Clifford at Wish TV with you this afternoon for the first of two, a women's and men's doubleheader between Franklin and Anderson. Camille Perry for the Grizzlies. The story for the first half. Freshman guard coming off the bench out of Speedway. 6 first half assists. That's already a career high for Perry. And Sarah O'Day, 23 in white, trailing her in the layup line here to head of halftime. O'Day with the career high 12 points, all coming in the second quarter as Franklin uses a 22-11 second quarter to take a 10-point lead into halftime. The Grizzlies trailed by 1 after 1. It was all Franklin in the second quarter. For Anderson, Lexi Dellinger, star player, reigning conference player of the year, 10 points on 3 of 12 shooting. Anderson held to 22% from the field. They came in shooting it at 36% from the floor all season, 9-2. The turnovers in favor of Franklin after one half of play. A key lineup change here for the second half. We monitored this story through the first 2 quarters. Jade Shipley, senior, team captain, former Westfield Rock, is on the bench ready to check in for the first time. Shipley did not play in the first half. She comes off a season best 19 points in the Ravens win at home over Manchester on Wednesday. So Shipley and Dellinger, the potent backcourt for head coach John Ginn, appears to be ready to play together here in the second half. Very entertaining first 20 minutes of action. The men's game will tip just about 25 minutes after this contest, so please stay with us all afternoon long on Grizz TV. This is an important game in HCAC play. The Grizzlies are 4-1. The Ravens 5-2. The Ravens have won 4 consecutive games overall. You remember back to last February, the last meeting between these two. It was a 2-point win for Anderson in this gym. Now, all time, Franklin 13-2 against the Ravens here at home. Something tells me this game is going to come down to the last minute here. But as of now, Franklin, a 10-point lead. The Grizzlies will now head towards their bench for the second half. Coach Johnson ready to go. Coach Ginn seated. He's ready to go. It's O'Day, Cooney, Kuhn, Bailey, and Barnes, the starting 5 for the Grizzlies back in. For Anderson, again, as we mentioned, Shipley wearing 5 in for the first time, along with the 4 other starters for the Ravens. This one's batted around. Bailey tries to save it. Bailey's foot was on the end line. In the first possession, no points for the Grizzlies. Here's Shipley for the first time. Shipley, Dellinger, Taylor, Marshall, and Tolliver here to start the second half. Dellinger, 20 points a game, scored 10 in the first half, only made 3 of her 12 field goals. Tolliver, Shipley, 6 on the shot clock, passes it out. Dellinger open for 3. Straight away, Shipley to Dellinger. Assist Shipley, triple for Dellinger. 7-point game. Kuhn, O'Day, and Cooney up top. Shipley on Kuhn, 13 on the shot clock. Shipley cuts her off. Cooney double dribble. Shipley's aggressive defense up top. Jade Shipley just over a minute into her work this afternoon, already making an impact. Again, we were not given a reason why she didn't see the floor in the first half, but the senior team captain ready to go on limited duty this afternoon. 10 on the shot clock. Shipley crossover, driving in, whistle, travel. So a double dribble and a travel, 1 turnover apiece here in the second half. If you're just jumping on to Grizz TV, Anderson led by 1 after the first. Franklin outscored the Ravens 22-11 in the second quarter. And that Brings us to this third quarter action, a 7-point lead. Barnes was open for 3, so it'll remain a 7-point lead. Dellinger, Shipley in the corner. You can tell they look for each other. Blocked by O'Day. O'Day with already career-high 12 points on the offensive end. Barnes tied up. Jump ball, possession arrow. Keeps it with Anderson. So the two-man game between Shipley and Dellinger. If you haven't watched this team this season, just 2 minutes into the third quarter, you get a glimpse of these two know each other so well. Season high, 19 for Shipley Wednesday. Marshall, that pass was for Marshall on the inbound. Shipley saves it. 7 on the shot clock. Dellinger, step back on Barnes. Dellinger, 5 points to start the second half. It's been Dellinger 5, Franklin nothing. Back to a 5-point game. You can sense the momentum coming back to Anderson. It hasn't felt like this since midway through the first quarter. Good bounce pass in from O'Day to Cooney. O'Day, third 3 of the game. Clanks it off the back of the iron. Shipley spins, crosses the logo, takes a peek at Dellinger in the corner, keeps it. Taylor to Tolliver. Ball screen action. Dellinger, floater in the lane. Gets nothing, gets the offensive board. Marshall steps back for 3 and puts it in. 8-0 run to start the second half. And it's a 2-point game. 5 for Dellinger, 3 for Marshall. Here after the intermission. O'Day looking for answers on offense. Cross court to Barnes. Dumps it in. Taylor reaches across. Bats it out of bounds. We'll have a side out of bounds. And Perry's back in for O'Day. Camille Perry, freshman from Speedway, had the best half of her collegiate career. 6 assists in the first half. That's a new career high. Perry to inbound. Hanauer also in. Cece Bailey, 2 fouls. She takes a break. O'Day's going to stay in. So O'Day, Hanauer, Cooney, Kuhn, and Perry. Tolliver, Dellinger, Smith, Marshall, and Taylor for the Ravens. Perry's drive, too much off the glass. Dellinger running to that left wing. O'Day stays on her assignment. Perry harassing Marshall. Kuhn got a hand on it, out of bounds. 6:15, third quarter. Grizzlies led by 10 at half. That lead is now down to 2. 8-0 Anderson through nearly 4 minutes of play in the third quarter. Perry on Dellinger. High screen Taylor. Dellinger over to the right wing. Marshall for her second straight 3. It's too long. Dellinger the rebound. Back to Dellinger. Left wing. Tipped by Taylor. Perry. Great hustle. Off the foot of Taylor. Marshall off the window. The run is 10-0. And Coach Jessica Johnson wants a timeout. John Ginn's team comes out on fire in the second half. Anderson back even. It's all tied up at 36. Just over 5.5 to go in the third quarter. Charlie Clifford on Grizz TV. Presented by the Hubler Automotive Group. The rest of the third quarter on the way after this timeout. are watching Grizz TV. Charlie Clifford of Wish TV out of Indianapolis with you for a doubleheader this afternoon. The women's game has been worth the price of admission. 36 all, 5:44 on the clock in the third quarter. Lexi Dellinger, the reigning HCAC Player of the Year. 10 points. Hasn't been a great shooting day. Dellinger's found a way to contribute in other ways. 8 rebounds, a block, and 2 assists. As Anderson starts the third quarter on a 10-0 run. That's where we pick things up. O'Day, Hanauer, Perry, Cooney, and Kuhn. Jessica Johnson, you could hear her up here during the timeout, not happy with things that are going, specifically on the defensive end of the floor to start the second half. Perry, another empty trip. Franklin still without a point in the third quarter. We're nearly halfway gone. Marshall, wide open 3, no good. O'Day, great effort. Hanauer has numbers. It's a 2-on-1. Kuhn takes it, met at the rim by Marshall, and Jordan Kuhn goes to the line for 2 shots. Grace Marshall's second personal foul. Bella Larison back in for the second time. And Jade Shipley, who did not play in the first half, is also back in. Kuhn's first is good. And Franklin has a point here in the third quarter. Kuhn with 2 points in the first half, and now 2 in the second. 38-36, Franklin back up 2. The Grizzlies led by 10 at halftime. Smith and O'Day, nice battle. Sarah O'Day is having the best game of her Grizzlies career. Excuse me, of her season, I should say. A season best 12 points for Sarah O'Day. She's made an impact on the other end of the floor as well. Side out of bounds coming to you here shortly. 38-36. Time for another timeout on Grizz TV. We're back with the final 4:52 of the third quarter in 2 minutes. Coach Jan, assistant Emily Langolf, Morgan Douglas, done with the huddle for the Anderson Ravens. Dellinger, Shipley, Larison, Smith, and Marshall. The 5 Coach Jin's going to go with, as this has been a 12-2 start for Anderson. Excuse me, 10-2 start for Anderson in the third quarter. We're halfway gone. Dellinger on Perry. Perry whistled on the wing. Camille Perry's first personal, second on the Grizzlies in the second half. Correction, team's first in the third quarter. Dellinger corner, another one of these wide open corner threes. And Smith connects. Lauren Smith had a nice first half. Top Anderson player off the bench in the first half. And Anderson leads by 1. Cooney. There was a hand in there. We'll wait to see who the whistle's on. Taylor Cooney's going to get a shot at retaking the lead here at the free throw stripe. Maddie Barnes in for Perry. As Number 1 on Lexi Dellinger. Cooney evens it up. Second team foul on Anderson. Cooney in and out. Hannah over there on the offensive board, and she gets a shot at 2. That is Marshall. Grace Marshall's 3rd personal foul. First player this afternoon to have 3. She'll get ready to come out. And that is one of the more awkward free throw attempts that will count. Discussion here, is that a violation on Anderson? No. Okay, so the miscommunication on the substitution. Now Marshall comes out. Davis back in. Hanover gets both. And a 3-point possession on the Grizzlies' end of the floor to retake the lead. It's Franklin up by 2, 41-39. Davis just in, Euro step, off the window and in. Izzy Davis learned that at Bishop Chittard, the freshman. Playing a role here this afternoon off the bench. O'Day, aggressive drive. Coons left open in the left corner. Off the side of the backboard, chases down her own miss. Didn't get a piece of the rim. So that reset on the shot clock. We'll put it at 15 seconds. Nice estimation by the officials. 3:49 to go. Cooney, Hanauer, O'Day, Kuhn, and Barnes. This is a 5-wide offensive set. Davis with a piece of it. Dellinger across the logo. Steps back on Cooney straight away. Dellinger for 3 and 1. Lexi Dellinger. Do not count her out. A cold first half, just 3 makes on 12 field goal attempts. The reigning HCAC Player of the Year is alive. One to get the 3-4-point play. Dellinger now with 19 points. Had 10 in the first half, has 9 here in the third quarter. Anderson has its largest lead since midway through the first quarter, excuse me. Hanauer answers on the other end. Franklin's continued to punch back here in the third quarter. Grizzlies 10-point leads, now a 2-point deficit. Davis has come in with a spark off the bench in the third quarter. It's been Davis, Dellinger doing the damage here with the help of Smith off the bench as well in the third quarter. Perry, Davis, O'Day in the corner, 12 on the shot clock. Hanauer over her left shoulder, bucket good. Georgia Hanauer back-to-back buckets. It's back to a 2-point Anderson lead. 2:30 to go. Larison thought about it. She'll knife in. Barnes the rebound. Barnes stopped by Shipley. Smart play by Shipley to cut off the drive on the left wing. Dellinger, corner, Shipley. Smith. Perry closes out well. Little hands, Dellinger this time to corner. Davis, can she buy another one? Back of the rim, high rebound. Hanauer saves it on the out of bounds line. Perry tries off the left foot. Hanauer corner 3 is good. Georgia Hanauer. 7 points for Hanauer in the quarter. Franklin back up 1. Dellinger off the window. Hanauer the rebound. Perry's gonna walk it up. A frantic pace here over the final 3 minutes of the third quarter. Franklin by 1. O'Day had a dozen in the first half. Barnes, 3. Hanauer on the offensive glass. Kuhn wide open, straight away. Franklin is feeling it. 51-47. This third quarter's been something else, hasn't it? Davis's spin. Whistle here. Perry called on the reach in. That was before the shot. Camille Perry, her second personal foul. Up and down, back and forth we go. Wow. Credit this Franklin team. Anderson's won 4 consecutive games. They come in with one of the most high-powered offenses in the conference, one of the most efficient offenses in terms of turnovers in the nation. And after an 8-0 run to start the quarter, after Anderson built a 4-point lead after trailing by 10, Franklin now comes back to lead by 4. Hope you're having fun with us on Grizz TV. Charlie Clifford at Wish TV with you. Davis doesn't get either. So under a minute to go. Grizzlies 51, Anderson 47. Lauren Bates back in. Lauren Bates steps through. Maddie Barnes on the rebound, jump ball. Before Taylor could wrestle it away, the offensive glass, another major advantage for Franklin so far through nearly 3 quarters. Bates is going to inbound it. Kate Breeden also in. Kuhn in the corner. Kuhn steps into a jumper. Breeden, offensive rebound. It'll stay with the Grizzlies. McKinley Taylor, 3 personal fouls. So 3 on Marshall, 3 on Taylor. That's team foul number 4. So Franklin's going to go to the line for 2 shots for any foul over the final 38 seconds of play. Breeden, great look from Barnes. Breeden connects. The passing from Coach Johnson's team. Impressive here in the third. Davis on Barnes. Taylor thought about it. This time she is going to go into the paint. Couple feet and 1. Taylor gets away with 1 too many in terms of the steps. And instead it's an and 1 opportunity. Taylor trying to finish off a 3-point play. Jordan Kuhn, the guilty party, on the block. 3 personal fouls on Kuhn. And bucket counted. Yeah, little confusion here from the officials. So bucket counts, free throw good. Taylor to the bench for the final 17 seconds and change. Shot clock off. Game clock now running under 15 as Barnes crosses midcourt. Grizzlies lead by 3. Reach in, and that was a mistake. Jada Stansberry, freshman, who just checked back in, gives Barnes 2 freebies from the free throw line. Pair substitutions for the final offensive possession, most likely the third quarter. The starting backcourt for Anderson, Shipley, and Dillinger return. Barnes good. .9 left in the third quarter. Barnes puts the Grizzlies back up 5. Shipley, 10 on the game clock. Picked up by O'Day. Dellinger fakes the handoff. Barnes all over Dellinger. Dellinger steps in, back to Shipley. 1 on the clock. Step through, layup, no. 55-50 Franklin after a feverish run from Anderson to take a 4-point lead after trailing by 10 at halftime. It's the Grizzlies making the run to close the third quarter. Franklin up 5 with 10 minutes to go. We're back with the final 10 at Franklin College on Grizz TV after this. Charlie Clifford of Wish TV with you on Grizz TV. We're ready to go for the fourth quarter. Anderson trailing by 5. Franklin back up 5. After trailing by 4 in the third quarter, it was back and forth third quarter. Dellinger stopped Taylor in the corner. 7 on the shot clock. Taylor into the paint. Shipley needs to do something. 4 on the clock. Bucket good. Jade Shipley didn't play in the first half. Senior captain out of Westfield. A nice second half. 3-point game. Turnover. O'Day looking for Breeden. Franklin only 8 turnovers through 3 quarters. Make it 9. Shipley picked up by O'Day. Shipley, Taylor, Tolliver, Marshall, and Dellinger. Marshall dribble. Shipley again, shot clock under 10. Tolliver, lefty from the left wing, yes! We're all even. 5-0 run from Anderson to start the fourth. Bates, Barnes, O'Day, Breeden, and Kuhn for Coach Johnson, trying to end Anderson's 4-game win streak and improve to 5-1 in conference play. This Grizzlies team, first-year head coach, playing with a ton of energy. O'Day underneath. She was too far under the basket, and Sarah O'Day's whistled for the reach-in. Third personal on O'Day. If you're just joining us, Lexi Dellinger, leading scorer in the conference, reigning conference player of the year, up to 19 points. She had a 9-point third quarter. 6 of 18 from the floor. Tolliver, Marshall. Marshall's left alone. She doesn't hesitate. Can Franklin find a way to close this thing out? Reach in. Tolliver whistled for the reach in. Second on Mackenzie Tolliver. 1 foul apiece. Reminder, double bonus for either side would be 5 personals. 8 minutes to go. 55 all. Anderson led by a point after the first quarter. A 22-11 advantage for Franklin in the second. Gave the Grizzlies a 10-point lead at half. They led by 5 coming into this quarter. Taylor Cooney on the drive. CeCe Bailey can't finish on the offensive board, and we're going the other way. Whistles everywhere here to start the fourth quarter. We'll see who this goes on. Loose ball foul charge to CeCe Bailey. Three personals on Bailey. Shipley and Dellinger jog across the midcourt stripe. 5-0 Anderson run to start the fourth quarter. They started the third on an 8-0 run. Tolliver, the lefty. Cooney there with their block. 13 on the shot clock. Out of bounds to Anderson. Tolliver lobs. Dellinger picked up by Cooney. Dribbles with the right, crossover back to the right corner. Tolliver, 3, too long, rebound CeCe Bailey. Looking ahead's Cooney. Kuhn back up top to O'Day, moves it over the right wing. Barnes off the bounce with the left. Bailey, lefty to the left, can't finish. Taylor's done a nice job defensively. Dellinger. Left wing, waiting for Cooney. No help there. Pushes off with the right shoulder. Cooney locked up with Dellinger. Gets enough space for the 3. And the reaction from Dellinger. If there is a half step, if there is an ounce of air, Lexi Dellinger is dangerous. 22 points, game high. She's eclipsed her average of 20 for the season. And Anderson up 3. Cooney to Barnes. Down low. Where's this offense going to come from Franklin in the fourth quarter? O'Day to tie it. She does. 15 for O'Day, upping her season best. She was scoreless in the third quarter after a dozen in the second. Taylor gets whacked and finishes. McKinley Taylor paid for that. O'Day across the top of the face with the reach in. Taylor able to finish to take the lead by 2. Sarah O'Day now with 4 personal fouls. For now, she stays in. 6 minutes left on the clock. Decision time for Coach Johnson. Talking to Coach Downard. No 3-point play, so still a 2-point game. Georgia Hanauer back in. O'Day, dribble drive, Hanauer, 3. Off the bench and in. Georgia Hanauer continues to be a weapon off this bench. 17 points, Georgia Hanauer to lead the Grizzlies. Good pass. Lewis into Smith. And the lead goes back to Anderson, 62-61. Cooney O'Day, she was waiting for it. 3 goes. 4 lead changes in the past 60 seconds of play. Grizzlies by 2. Taylor, no chance from the wing. Lewis is there. Foul on the ground. Maddie Barnes whistled. Barnes' second personal. 4th team foul on the Grizzlies. Anderson 1 away from double bonus time. Bella Larison in for Taylor. Coach Ginn not happy with that shot from Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen on Grizz TV, I'm going to go out and say this is the best home game we've seen all season long. Marshall back in, slips in on the out-of-bounds play. No one guarding the weak side. 64 all, 5 minutes to go at Franklin College. O'Day again. Sarah O'Day with 18 points. Georgia Hanauer with 17, the 2 top scorers for the Grizzlies. Smith for 3. Hold on to your seats. Smith evens it at 67. Perry also checking back in. Kuhn to the right side. Kuhn, 2-point lead for Franklin. Dellinger matched up with Perry. Tries the right side. Larison doesn't want the 3. Lewis had a big third quarter. Good step through Larison. 69 all, timeout, John Ginn. This 4th quarter has brought a little bit of everything. And with 4:23 to go, we are all even on Grizz TV, presented by the Hubler Automotive Group, the first of 2. If you have anything left for the doubleheader, for the nightcap of the doubleheader, I should say, well, props to you. Charlie Clifford of Wish TV, the final 4:23 at Franklin College comes your way after this timeout. Hanauer, Perry, Barnes, Kuhn, and O'Day for Jessica Johnson. This is a pivotal moment in Jessica Johnson's first season here in the early going in conference play. A chance to knock off an Anderson team that's won 4 straight. Perry shot fake, rolls out. Shot fake was the right decision. Perry again gets a hand in on that. Decision time, stay here with Anderson. Anderson's 5-2 in conference, 4th in conference play. Franklin technically 4-1 after the no contest against Rolls-Homan earlier this week. So the Grizzlies technically 1 spot above the Ravens in conference heading into this afternoon. If you've watched or if you're just joining us, we can tell you right now, we aren't sure who the better team is. Through nearly 37 minutes of play, the final 3:45, we're going to figure that out. 69 all. Smith to inbounds. Dellinger pushing Perry with the right shoulder into the lane. Marshall bounce pass, skids through. High screen. Smith's 3 is good. Lauren Smith from Muncie, the story off the bench for the Ravens. The biggest shot thus far. Anderson up 3. Pass nearly picked off by Dellinger. Kuhn to Perry. 15 on the shot clock. Perry. Hesitation dribble. Hanauer. Leading scorer. Whistle. 2 shots coming. Georgia Hanauer. Hanauer provided the spark in the second quarter 1 week ago, against Earlham. To put Franklin in front. She has kept Franklin in this game in the second half. Team high 18 points. A flurry of substitutions. Coach Ginn continuing to go to his bench. Taylor back in. Shipley also returns, along with Tolliver. Free throws straight through. This to get back within 1. It's good. Anderson's lead down to 1. Shipley, Day's waiting for her across the logo, right side. Dribble to the free throw line. Tolliver, nice little weave, reaching by Perry. Camille Perry with the assists in the first half and the steals in the second half, making a strong case to Coach Johnson to continue to play major minutes off the bench and potentially work her way in the starting lineup. She's been fantastic. Izzy Davis returns. Marshall after the turnover rest. 3 minutes to go. Anderson leads by 1. Anderson trailed by 10 at halftime. Franklin, 5-point leads disappeared here in the fourth quarter. Perry, strong drive to the left, shot fake, Hanover, snipes into the lane, off the back iron, tries to get her own miss. Dellinger ends up with it. Dellinger doesn't have numbers. Slows the pace. It's a one-on-one situation. Crossover to the left. Dellinger loops through. The pass to Tolliver. Here comes Davis into the lane. Shot fake. Lay-in goes. Contact finished through the contact for Izzy Davis. Ravens by 3. O'Day, Hanauer, corner to Kuhn. Screen from Hanauer. Perry. Tolliver not even interested up top. Timeout. Timeout, Jessica Johnson. Franklin wants to draw things up. 2:05 to go. Grizzlies trail by 3. We'll keep it here on Grizz TV. We're giving you a live look in at Jessica Johnson's timeout. Abby Downer, top assistant. No substitutions coming for the Grizzlies. So Hanauer and O'Day, the 2 offensive weapons, stay in. CeCe Bailey, starting center, remains on the bench. It's been Hanauer instead of Bailey here in crunch time. Taking a peek at Coach Ginn and the Ravens huddle, on the other end. Dellinger, Davis, Taylor, Shipley, and Tolliver. Time to sort out 2 teams climbing in the HCAC. 2:05 to come away with a winner and a loser here. The first of two, doubleheader on the way on Grizz TV. The men will tip off 25 minutes. They're ready to go after this one. Cooney, thought Coon was going to go back door, lost it. Crucial turnover. Dellinger walking it across, minute 45 to go. Chance to make this a two-possession game. Dellinger steps back, three, good! Someone needs to figure out how to stop Lexi Dellinger. It's been the story in the second half. 25 points, a game high. Cooney, quick step back short. Kuhn chases it down, another possession, key offensive board. Franklin needs points, down 6, minute 15 to go. O'Day whistled for the travel, back-to-back turnovers. Turnovers have been the Achilles heel of this team over the past week and a half. It's not really been a story so far. Maybe the difference here late. Dellinger trying to split it. Ravens needed to get it across half court. Shipley does. Lobs it ahead. Davis keeps alive. Back to Shipley. Taylor, smart decision. 15 on the shot clock. A 6-point lead. A 3 from Smith and Dellinger, the two difference makers in this game late. Cooney with the steal, and Dellinger trips her up. That will go on Lexi Dellinger, as Cooney had the potential of a breakaway land. Instead, will inbound it just near midcourt. Braylon Clendenden, who played at the very end of the first half, comes in for Maddie Barnes. Franklin down 6, still time to even this thing up. 44 seconds to go. Cooney right to the rim. No one crashes on the offensive glass. 10-second differential, shot clock and game clocks. Time for a quick turnover if you can find. Instead, Georgia Hanover reaches in, and going to the line for a double bonus situation is Jade Shipley. The last 3 Grizzlies offensive possessions. 2 turnovers and a missed lay-in from Cooney. Anderson's hit a couple threes late. That's the difference in the final 3 minutes. With 31 seconds to go, Shipley rolls in her first. This is now the largest second half lead for Anderson, who trailed by 10 at the break. Shipley's second, too long. Georgia Hanauer trapped in the corner, needs to step through. Timeout called. Jessica Johnson trailing by 7. 29 and change to go on the clock. This is now a 3-possession game. And we'll keep it here on Grizz TV. A reminder that all of the action presented to you this afternoon by the Hubler Automotive Group, Charlie Clifford of Wish TV. The men's contest will begin just about 25 minutes after the conclusion of what has been a back and forth, incredibly entertaining first half of the doubleheader here. Jessica Johnson looking for potentially a quick 3 to make this a 4-point game. Anderson double bonus the rest of the way. Lexi Dellinger, reigning HCAC Player of the Year. She's a full-time 5th grade teacher in LaPel. Graduate student for Anderson, 2nd all-time leading scorer, 2nd all-time in 3-pointers made. She's dropped 40 earlier this season and putting together a 25-point performance after being held to 10 in the first half. Anderson shot 22% in the first half. Franklin has done about all it can do from a defensive standpoint. Dellinger, with the addition of Shipley, her backcourt mate, who's only played here in the second half, they've just found what works for them. Hanauer stuffed, and Georgia Hanauer appeared to roll her right ankle
on that lay-in attempt. Taylor straight up. And Taylor's going to make the walk for two as Georgia Hanauer is checked out by the medical staff. She's put together the day offensively for the Grizzlies, and we certainly hope this is nothing that will linger for the sophomore out of Hartford City, Indiana. This is a season-high scoring performance for Georgia Hanauer. Her fourth double-figure game of the season. And for the freshman who played 20 games last season, there's little question about the importance of her role going forward in conference play. McKinley Taylor, 2 shots. And this game now appears to be out of reach. Anderson leading by 8. And it will stay that way. 20 seconds on the game clock. Time to launch a 3. Kuhn instead drives in off the window, rolls out. Loose ball. Clendenden off her knee. 9 seconds to go. 8-point lead for Anderson. Anderson's going to improve to 8-5 on the year and 6-2 in conference play. Coach Jin's going to use this as a teaching opportunity. And Anderson is 9 seconds away from its 5th consecutive win and improving to 6-3 on the road. They've been away from home a ton to start the season. And this has the opportunity to be the Ravens, not only their 5th straight win, but 5 consecutive wins by 9 points or less. You all will nod in agreement when you have a star player like Lexi Dellinger and this supporting cast, which can beat you from behind the 3-point line with essentially anyone on the floor. The fourth quarters of these games prove very difficult from a defensive standpoint for the opposition. That's been the case for Franklin here in the final 3 minutes. Remember, this was a tie game with 3 minutes to go. The clock will tick down to 0. Lexi Dellinger's 25-point effort, enough to move Anderson to 8-5 on the season. Franklin falls to an even 6-6, 4-2 in HCAC play. Coach Johnson will be proud of this effort. Georgia Hanauer, Sarah O'Day leading the way in the losing effort for the Grizzlies. 79-71. It's a final here, the first of 2, a doubleheader between Franklin and Anderson. We'll be back with a quick post-game thought ahead of a short break before the men's game. This is Charlie Clifford of Wish TV. You are watching Grizz TV.